Hello and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm sharing how to create this beautiful pastel number cake without a special tin, and also share some tips for carving the cake, plus how to keep it from drying out. If you're new here and you enjoy this video, hit the subscribe button below, and you can also turn on the notification bell to never miss a video. I post weekly on all things cake, including full free tutorials just like this. So before I even bake my cake, I'm going to prepare all my fondant decorations the day before so that they can harden up overnight and then hold their shape once added to the cake. For my pastel colours, I've used Colour Splash Pale Pink, Pro Gel Yellow, Pro Gel Sky Blue and Colour Splash Violet, and I just added a little at a time until I was really happy with the shade. To make the rainbows, take a piece of fondant and roll out into a sausage shape. Now, to keep the surface smooth and even, you can use a fondant smoother like this and gently press down whilst rolling the fondant backward and forwards. Apply a little pressure and you can keep the thickness nice and even. Repeat for the other colours. To keep a nice even semicircle, I'm taking a small circular cutter to build my rainbow against. If you don't have a small cutter, that's fine. You could use something like a bottle cap or any other small circular object. Wrap your first colour around and then using a little water on a brush, add enough just to make it tacky and then attach the next colour. Once you've added all the colours, remove the cutter or whatever you've used and then using a sharp knife, cut across both rows of fondant. So I'm going to pop mine onto an acrylic disc which I've covered in corn flour to dry out on, and that should stop it from sticking too. Then just make as many as you like for your number or your letter. For my next decoration, I'm simply going to roll out my pink fondant and cut out some hearts, and then use my yellow fondant and cut out some stars. The last fondant decoration that I'm making are the happy birthday and name tags. I purchased this birthday embosser that I got from Etsy, which I'll link below, and you simply push this into the fondant to emboss your message. So I've already cut out 2 blue circles, but before I do the purple ones, it's a lot easier to emboss first, centre your cutter and cut out, and then do it the other way around. So I'm just going to cut off the top and the bottom and then attach this to the blue disc for a really nice effect. For the name, I'm using this mini alphabet embosser where you can slide in the letters to make your own messages or names. Just make sure that you put it in backwards so it prints correctly on the fondant. So I'm just going to trim the top and the bottom and attach to the blue disc like before, and that's all my fondant decorations done. But I'm going to add one more thing, and that's these really cute mini chocolate bars. So I ordered my mould from Amazon and I'll link that in the description below, and I absolutely love it. And each bar only takes about 5 grams of chocolate, so you're not really using that much, but the effect is really cool. Now I'm melting down some white chocolate chips. These are just supermarket brand ones, and I find these the easiest to temper. Just pop it in a microwavable bowl and put in the microwave for 10-second bursts, stirring in between. Now you want to leave it until it's nearly melted and then use the remaining heat to completely melt it down, and then that way it should stay in temper. So you can leave them like this if you like, or you can colour them. Now I feel slightly lied to, as I've heard you've had to use oil-based colours such as Colour Mill to dye your chocolate. But then I saw something while scrolling through social media that said that you can use Pro Gel, which is actually water-based. So I'm going to give that a go, as I don't have any oil-based dyes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so far so good. I'm quite happy. Doesn't look like it's splitting or leaving any streaks. Actually, it's worked quite well. If anything, all it's done is made the consistency slightly more thicker, but it's not seized, so I'm rolling with it. I'm going to put my mixture into a piping bag just to make it a little bit easier to get into my mould, and then once I filled that up, I'm just going to tap it just to get out those air bubbles, and then I'm just going to smooth off the back with an offset spatula where I've just slightly filled it a bit too much. That can be left now to set with the other decorations, and I will see you tomorrow for the cake. It is now tomorrow and we're going to move on to the cake. So this morning I baked 2 rectangular sponges, and they are 12 inches by 8 inches, and once they cooled down I wrapped them in cling film and then put them into the freezer for around 30 minutes. This will just help the cakes keep their shape, and then I'll get a nice clean cut when I carve. Now my cakes are lovely and flat, but I don't want that caramelisation on the top, so I'm just going to use my cake leveller and literally just skim off that very top layer. I made myself a basic template out of paper, and I'm just going to put that straight onto the sponge, and then using a sharp knife I'm going to cut around the template. Keep the knife at a 90-degree angle to make sure that the sides are nice and straight, and then work your way around both sponges. To keep these cakes from drying out, I'm going to simple syrup them. So if you're not sure what that is or how to make it, I'll link my video on all things simple syrup above. Now it's soaked in, everything can be assembled, and this is so quick and easy. I've already attached my first sponge to my board with a little bit of buttercream, and then using a large open tip, I'm going to begin piping dots around the outside of the cake. Just apply a little bit of pressure, release, and then pull upwards quickly to make that little peak. Work your way around any inside pieces and then fill in between. I'm adding some jam into mine, so I've just popped that into a piping bag, and then I'm going to place little dots of jam in the gaps in the buttercream. Carefully place your second sponge on top of the other one, and then pipe your buttercream dots as before. I've also mixed up a little light blue buttercream, and then I've popped that into a piping bag with a small star tip, and I'm just going to pipe these randomly over the top of my cake just to add a little bit more colour. Lastly, place your decorations onto the cake. This is my favourite part because this is where all your hard work comes together in about 5 minutes and looks amazing. If you want to angle your decorations slightly like I have, you can pop a little bit of buttercream underneath, or you can just lay them flat straight onto the cake. So you can stop here and your cake will be done, but if you want to add a little bit of sparkle like I do, this edible glitter by Cake Decor is perfect. Just a few pumps and it gives you lovely coverage. Now I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but in real life this was so shimmery and sparkly. I really hope that you enjoyed this week's video tutorial. If you did, then give it a thumbs up. I hope you all have a lovely week, and I will see you next time. Bye!